What is the Fed doing now? Fed watch, rate cut in December. Where are we and why? What the heck's going on, Michael?
Well, a lot of stuff happened this week. This was a short week. Obviously, Thanksgiving. We'll get more into that later. But the odds have really flipped, right? If you step back just a couple of weeks, we were at something like 90 or 92% chance of a December cut.
Yep.
Several Fed presidents came out and were hawkish, which sent the odds at one point. I think I saw the odds one point at 36% for a December cut. And now I've just checked a minute ago, they're 87%. So after the hawks came out, a couple of doves done. But something I did for this channel, I think it was Monday, it might have been Tuesday, is I took a long time and I went through X or Twitter as my source. So again, that's the source, but I tried to find all 12 voting members of the Fed and try to figure out, are they a hawk or are they a dove, or maybe I don't know. And I found 5 hawks, 5 doves, and 2 unknowns. One of those unknowns is Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell has been remarkably quiet since the last Fed meeting. I think the other one, I forget who the other one was, but needless to say, I think this December meeting probably goes down 7-5. And before you ask, that has happened before. Once in 1983 with Paul Volcker, there was a Fed meeting that was 7-5, because it's unusual to have 1 dissent, let alone 2. And folks, we're talking 4 or 5.
Yep.
Especially because the Fed is executing malpractice and not delaying the meeting. We talked about that last week. Right. They should definitely delay, but there doesn't seem like they're going to. So, I'm going to stay in my camp. I don't think the market is appreciating that these 2 unknowns, one of them is Powell, could easily be, hey, we don't have enough data, no harm, no foul, let's wait till January, because that's the next meeting. And, once again, I'm on an island by myself saying no cut when the market has gone drastically the other way. I don't like flip-flopping, so I won't. But yeah, there was a lot of data this week we can get into that kind of maybe even points at a maybe rate cut. But yeah, this is why I think the Fed's got to shut up and stop talking. I just really think they got to stop talking, right? The fact that we have 3-4 Fed presidents talk every freaking day is sending the market in wild, tantrums. And I don't think that's helping anybody.
Yeah, we are on a wild ride, right? I mean, this is, everything changes. It's day by day. I don't think that, I want to say for the record, I never, ever see you as somebody that flip-flops, but you just adjust with the winds. You adjust your sails with the winds as to what's going on. The most interesting thing I think that's different than in the 80s is that we're now in this massively rapid 24-hour news cycle where everything changes. It's instant in terms of the news. Let's get into the show notes. This is for Friday, November the 28th, 2025. Happy Thanksgiving. This is the Friday after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, as it's known in the United States. Let's talk about retail sales. We will come back to the Fed, so stay tuned, everybody. We will talk about the Fed. We'll talk about what happens next. Let's get into retail sales. What is your take this week? What do you see on a short week?
Yeah, a couple of things. So again, we're starting to have past data that was out because of the shutdown come back. So a lot of the government data is for September, and retail sales is an example of that. We don't have October data, and we may never have October data. We do have with September, and retail sales, generally speaking, were as expected. I do think it's interesting that there are very low expectations for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Last I read, retail sales are expected to be down something like 6%. And I think I said it in the week, and I'll say it here. Yeah, I'll believe that when I see it, right? When the U.S. consumer spends less, I'll, color me shocked. I mean, it certainly could happen. I mean, if the headlines are right, people are strapped and all of that. But I've heard that before, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
So we'll see. Again, this will be very important data. We'll probably get it late Monday, maybe Tuesday. Like, how was Black Friday? Did the American consumer do what they always do? Or, hey, did they conserve because they're afraid or because they're out of money or whatever it is? So we'll have, I think we'll have a pretty good handle on the holiday season in, 3, 4, 5 days.
Very interesting times. Let's continue. So let's talk about PPI. What is it? What happened?
Same idea, right? We're getting inflation data, but it is for September. And largely speaking, it was as expected, or frankly, even better than expected. The core PPI was better than expected. So X food, X energy was better than expected, which really goes with the CPI number, because we did get September CPI because it was part of Social Security calculations. So both CPI and PPI for September were better than expected. But again, not October, not current, may never get October. And when we do get it, it will be after the Fed meeting, which again is really, really stupid malpractice. Why are you meeting with no data? It's kind of wild.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that. Let's talk about the Fed Beige Book. What is the Beige Book, and what's going on this week?
Yeah, the Beige Book is one of those reports that you don't look at except when everything is at an inflection point like we are now. Okay. And the Beige Book is basically a summary of the 18 districts, like what's going on in my district. And there are 18 districts. And it's a interesting report. Largely speaking, the Fed Beige Book was negative. It was weak on labor and weak on consumption, which again could be one of the main reasons we saw such an uptick in odds for a rate cut, because again, you know, more and more of the Fed presidents were seeing their districts get weaker. And again, labor being the big thing. So the Beige Book, I think, was a large part of why the odds really flipped from sub 40 to over 80. You know, that was an important, because again, that's recent. That's a recent view. So yeah.
So let's go back to the odds of a December cut. Mm-hmm. It's 87%. Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts on maybe what happened in the last, I feel like 2 weeks ago? Mm-hmm. Was it 2 weeks ago or a week ago that it was 30?
I think it was roughly 10 days ago. So
10 days ago, it was in the 30s, and all of a sudden now we're 87. Yeah. Next week we'll be at 97, right?
Could be.
Or next week will be the cut, actually. No, it'll be the following week.
Yeah, following
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. So anything else about December rate cut and like just...
No, I think what we saw again was the Fed. We had a couple of hawks come out because they didn't like where the odds were. That took it sub 40. And then the doves came out and said, we don't like where the odds are. Let's go the other way. We did get a weak Beige Book, as I've said, but also the 10-year note. I don't know what the 10-year note's doing this morning, but it was under 4% again. I mean, that's like two Fed meetings ago. We went sub 4%, and then Powell talked and we went like to 4.1. We've round tripped that. We're at or below 4% now. So I think the smart money is saying cut. So interesting.
Smart money saying cut. It's interesting because I had a couple of deals that were falling out of escrow, and then this week, of course, the 10-year dips down, and all of
suddenly
a sudden
the deal looks better.
Yeah, all of a sudden the lender was able to reprice it and take out some of the cost, and
there you go.
Lo and behold, it's hopefully saving some deals. So let's keep going. Let's talk about jobless claims weekly. Where are we at on data? What's happening?
Yeah, so we got these weekly unemployment claims a day early. Usually they're on Thursday, but Thanksgiving was Thursday, so it came out Wednesday, and they were damn near a cycle low. I think it were 216,000. I think they were lowest weekly claims in like 7 months or something. So again, if you want to be a hawk, you could certainly point at the weekly claims and saying, yeah, the chatter of layoffs is just chatter. It ain't showing up. It's not here. So again, I got to go back to this. The Fed has to delay their meeting. Right? If they don't delay, I just don't know how they could cut, right? If you guys are telling me the jobless market's falling apart and our weekly claims are 216, it's like, it's like, it just doesn't tie out.
Is it possible that they get it's the Fed, do they get an extra privileged leak of data?
Certainly anything
that we don't know about that. I mean, is that kind of more likely the play?
Dude, I would, first off, I would say, I hope so. I would certainly hope so.
Okay.
Historically speaking, Fed presidents and other Fed members have answered that question, and their answer is we get it the night before. After the market closes, they get the reports the night before. That's been the historical talk track. Believe them or not, I don't really care, but that was the answer.
Okay.
Could this time be so important that they get a draft, a working model? All I got to say is I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? Like,
come on, we're all the same team. What I mean, come on,
Yeah.
help me out.
And it is 2025 going into 2026. My guess is that they can probably send a text message or an email
Yeah.
to Fed.
Hey, buddy, they're not looking good, or you know what, they
Yeah.
might be okay. Yeah,
Here's an idea. Right. Okay. All right.
Here's
Let's
where we are.
So let's transition into real estate. Let's talk about pending home sales and where are we at? What's going, make sense of it.
Yeah. Pending home sales was that and purchase mortgages. We'll talk about them both here. Pending home sales, again, better than expected, up. Again, not a rocket ship off the bottom, but again, I think at some point, maybe in the next month, maybe another month, I'll declare victory on the August bottom that I called.
Yep.
Again, it's pretty clear that August will go down, in my opinion, as the bottom for transactions. That means we heal from here. That means if you're in real estate, in mortgage, things get better. They're not V-shaped recovery better, but shit, better's better, right? Especially with 60% less competition. So again, pending home sales were better than expected, but purchase applications, mortgage purchase applications this week were a year high. Think about what I just said.
Yeah.
We're in freaking November.
Thanksgiving.
And Thanksgiving week. Now that this is for the week before, but a week before Thanksgiving was the cycle high for purchase mortgage applications.
Yeah.
What the hell?
News.
That means it beats the spring. It beats the summer.
Right.
We're in winter, folks. And it was the high. And again, what does that mean? Well, we've had rates come down. Just as you said, deals are being saved. They're being repriced. Yep. We're seeing, the other thing we're seeing that wasn't on the list, but we'll throw it in here is delistings. We've had record delistings. There were 87,000 homes delisted. Why is that important? Well, if you're listed your home between Thanksgiving and Christmas, you're probably motivated. And a disrespectful or aggressive offer or whatever you want to call it might be entertained, might be reviewed, might be countered. So again, the market is bottoming. I think it's really wild that, last week was a high for the year for purchase mortgage applications. That's crazy.
I want to say too that I want to give you your flowers and that, they talk about a crystal ball and knowing what's happening. And you've been calling these markets month by month, quarter by quarter, what's going to happen next, what's unfolding. Folks, like Michael is doing it, not because he's a magician, it's because he does the work. Mm-hmm. He's doing the extra 2 or 3 hours a day, some days, most days, of reading reports and data and all this stuff. And you called it. We're coming in a market, just commenting on the market is where we were at the ultimate pessimism, right? Mm-hmm. If you look at tariffs and immigration and all the political and everything going on, and now all of a sudden we have this bump up of optimism and pricing. Rates are coming down, as you've talked about. They were higher for a long time.
Yep.
And now we're all of a sudden transitioning into what could be a really amazing 2026. I'm going to have you forecast, but talk about Goldman Sachs. What happened this week with Goldman Sachs?
Goldman Sachs is one of the couple banks. I think the other one was Bank of America this week, who went from no December cut to December cut. I think they did that after the beige book, and they're like, hey, this is, the job. Because again, it's all about those two other Fed members, Powell and I forget the other name. And, there's a chance we go 7.5 or 6.6. So yeah, I think what Wall Street is trying to do is get more and more people to push for the rate cut. So the Fed feels trapped. And I don't think this Fed's going to feel that way. I think there are 5 hardcore hawks, and I think there are 5 hardcore doves, and it's all about those two other members. How do they break down?
Got it. Okay. The two other members, Goldman Sachs says, yay, we are going to have a rate cut. Talk about the 10-year note, like kind of how is that all playing out and what do you see next? And how does the 10-year move at this point?
Yeah, the 10-year note's just falling like a feather, right? I don't know what it is doing this morning. Today's a half day, but it went below 4%. I think I saw 3.996, something like that. And I see no reason why it won't continue to fall. And we on December 1st, which is just a couple of days away, QT stops and we flip to, some people are calling it QE. I think QE is, is a 2026 thing, but the Fed is going to, I suspect, start injecting liquidity, which is going to, potentially lower rates again. So I think the 10-year, continues to gradually fall. I don't see any big crazy drop. Could it get to 3.9? Sure. 3.85? Sure. I don't know that it goes much below that. But you drop 15 basis points, you lose 15 basis points in spread, you're below 6% mortgage. I think a lot of people are calling for 6% mortgages in 2026, and I think they're all wet. I'll take the under. I think we're going, high fives for sure.
Yeah.
Because we still have that, margin that could be squeezed out. I think we have, a little more to go in the 10-year. And it's going to be interesting.
It is an interesting time, a wild ride. I love Millennial Mike. Shout out Millennial Mike. He posted something that I caught this week, and he says, "Hey, if we get into this print cycle with easing, meaning that, hey, it's best own assets, buy more assets, just keep buying more assets into this because assets always do well." Talk about opportunity in this market for the one real at a time investor. Just maybe help the community really dissect where are we and where are the opportunities.
Yeah, so we'll talk investors first, agents, and then mortgage brokers, because I have different messages for the three different group. Investors, never forget, it's a buyer's market. It's a buyer's market in the winter. It's a buyer's market in the winter when the consumer is scared. So, you should be licking your chops. You should have big dollar signs in your eyes. You should be aggressive. You should follow up. Money's made in the follow-up. I've told you all this all the time. 60% of my deals are between Halloween and New Year's Day. That should be a signal. That's not noise. Get to work, get to work, get to work. Agents, it's tough. Getting better. This is a time to have the conversations with if you have a listing, it's like, do you want to sell or not? And if not, it's okay. Let's go to the spring. I think wasting a lot of wasting more dollars on a property that's the seller's not going to reduce is unwise, right? You're running on thin margins. So, be a big boy, big girl, and suggest you take it off and wait for the spring. It's okay. You can still keep it as a pocket listing just in case somebody comes and wants to buy, but maybe it's better to relist in February instead of spend, the next 60 days on marketing and then have a pissed off seller. So think about that. But if they want to sell, then, hey, do the work. Cause if they're motivated, then, there should be investors out there looking. And then mortgage brokers, man, I think mortgage brokers are going to come out of this hot.
Yeah.
I've already called the rate and term refi, and we saw it in the numbers, nailed that. I think cash out refis are right around the corner and maybe started already, right? If you're somebody like me, who's got a shit ton of equity and rates keep coming down, there's going to be some point where I go, God damn, I got to go get that equity because I got to go get some deals. And it's coming, right? I don't do that at 8%, but shit, I might do it at 5.9, right?
Yeah.
So again, I think that's coming for a lot of people, and cash out refis are coming. And then heaven forbid we get down to 5.5, things can start really rocking and rolling and we get the move up buyer going. I don't know that we get to 5.5, but that's been my call for 6 months now, right? Rate and term first, done. Cash out refi soon. And then maybe if we go low enough, move up buyer goes, and then the party starts. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
So you think 5.5% 30-year mortgage money is what really loosens up inventory? Is that?
I think that's what starts the move up buyer. And again, it's all about the move up buyer. These last 3 years have been about move up buyer, what's called turnover, right? I sell one, I buy one. It's called turnover, being record lows, which again, we called here and got right. There is absolutely an interest rate where that market turns on like a light switch. I'm guessing it turns on enough to notice at 5.5. It absolutely turns on at 5. I mean, there's no question.
Okay.
I'm just thinking 5.5 might be, because if you go to 5.5, you could probably buy it down to 4.99. And again, I think that's the number where things go crazy.
Okay. Spot on. Absolutely love it. delistings, huge opportunity for realtors also to get in there for
Yes.
expired and canceled listings. A lot of times the sellers just don't know any better. It's not the property why, it usually is the price. Sometimes they just want a fresh conversation with a fresh new voice and fresh new face. So a lot of times they're going to just hire another realtor. They're going to delist and then go back on with someone else. And that's very, very common in this kind of market we're in. I think a huge opportunity. Michael, even with that, like, so NAR called for about a 14% increase in transactions. I believe Redfin CEO also, I think he was in that.
No, he's 7 or 8. 7 or 8.
7 or 8. Okay.
Yeah, 7 or 8. Yeah.
And then you're calling for what next year in transactions?
7 or 8. It was funny. I picked on NAR for calling 14, saying I'll take the under and I'll take half. Right. I'll take 7 or 8. And then it's funny. Redfin CEO came out the next day with the same number. I'm like, dude, somebody in your team's watching our channel.
Yeah.
Because I think 7%. I think 7% is. I would have a hard, like, if you told me the number is 7, I don't know if I would take the over or the under. I mean, that's like a perfect number.
It's a good number, huh?
It's a good number. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good number. And again, just so that the audience understands, we're not just going to start getting back into a quantitative easing, rates come down and this thing takes off like a rocket ship again. It isn't going to be 2021, 22. This is just going to be a lot better than 25 and 24. Is that any just last
That's exactly. And again, it's I would need people to understand this, right? What I'm saying is the pie is going to grow 7%.
Yeah.
But what you don't realize is there are 60% less people eating.
Right.
So the pie is bigger and you have 60% less forks.
Yep.
You're going to eat well.
I love the pie metaphor. It's
Thanksgiving. Yeah, exactly.
It's Thanksgiving. I fell asleep before pie. I fell asleep on the couch, so I missed out on pie. Maybe today. So
there you go.
Talk about Thanksgiving as we bring the show to an end. Talk about Thanksgiving and
It was fun. I actually recorded shows with Mark, the financial firefighter, Dana, the CEO of Hemlane, Jonathan, the CEO of Convoy Home Loans, and Stephen Dow from Velocity Mortgage yesterday morning. Wow. Think about that. We had four people say, hey, it's important for us to keep going. We'll record it. We'll record content for you on Thanksgiving morning. So that was awesome. And the last one I recorded was with Stephen, and we just did a show on just how thankful we are.
Yeah.
Right. We're, it's think about it, right? Think about what you and I are doing right now. We're leveraging a technology called YouTube. That allows us to 52 people are watching us live right now in comments and questions and all of that. That's amazing that we could do that today, that our reach. And then as the day goes on, there'll be 2,000, 2,500, 3,000 people watch and consume this and learn and grow. Think about, my very first video sitting on the couch with that purple polo talking about creating a legacy. I couldn't do it without YouTube. I couldn't do it without Amazon. Amazon allowed me to self-publish a book. The reach that we have now to tell people to do the work, motivate, 5 years sucked, school, right? All of these things that we have at our disposal to do once and then multiply and really impact generations. We have, a community of 70,000 plus subscribers. We have, all of these amazing things to be thankful for. And, sometimes in a world of chaos and noise and, reds and blues and, hate and all this nonsense, you sometimes forget that most people are good people. And, most people, are just great individuals. And it was a fun conversation. And again, thankful for you. Thank you for our friendship, both here and in real life. And it's, sometimes you just got to step back and smile and go, we're doing okay.
Amen. So good. I same feelings. So grateful for you and Olivia. And I'd reposted your happy Thanksgiving on Instagram. And it really warmed my heart though. And I'll tell you that I just like how neat that, even like Olivia's not on the show, but Olivia's like a big part of the way she supports Michael and that, he's here and he gets to do this. She loves that he loves to do this. And it's his passion project. And just what a blessing you and Olivia are and to so many people and to me specifically. And I think for a lot of people who watch the show, I know you're finally understanding, oh, this is how the economy works. And, actually learning this stuff, and you teach it in such a great way and share. So thank you, Michael.
Appreciate
Folks, get involved with the school community. It's the best $20 you'll ever spend on a Black Friday.
Oh,
get
yeah,
involved with school. School.com/ORaaT. It's right there on the show. Get involved with the school community. Anything on the February event on ticket sales, or where are we at? I know you're below 100.
No, yeah, less than 100 tickets. Again, I don't do sales, but if you buy an event, if you buy a ticket this weekend, I will get your address and mail you an autograph book.
So good.
Yeah. So there's 3 people, I think, already, Matt, Tamika, and one other. Forgive me, I don't remember the name. But anybody else who buys a ticket this weekend, I will send you an autograph book. And just as a thank you, because again, I'd love to sell this out this year. So we can stop talking about it, because I can't add seats. So, if we get the last 100 sold, awesome.
I love it. Folks, go to Eventbrite. You can buy it one rental at a time. Eventbrite, the February event. Michael, thank you for all that you do. Happy Thanksgiving, brother. Have a great rest of your weekend.
All right. Take care. Thanks. Bye.